Welcome to ONV, Respect the Game. Today's topic is our youth, our parents, coaches, and youth, and the exposure and playing time. But before we get started on that, I want everybody to, let the audience know who you are, and appreciate you guys being here.
All right.
Let's go around. Miss Queen of Basketball.
Once a player, once a coach. Love the game of basketball. I follow other sports as well. And I also have a brand line as well. So I'm Shalante. Nice to meet you guys.
Coach.
JJ Foster, lifelong Fort Wayne resident. Chanticleer. I always represent my college. But, I appreciate you guys having me on this panel.
Yeah. Mr. Muhammad.
Mark Muhammad, entrepreneur and a community activist, and love our children in the community. That's what I do it for.
I am C Stats. I'm your voice for Neutral Voices, but I am too. And I was just saying, I'm like the Stephen A. Smith. I didn't have all the athletic ability, but I can tell you all the analytics about it. So I'm the Stephen A. Smith of this panel.
And I'm Coach Ayers. Coach in the community almost all my life. Retired. Enjoying life.
That's a good feeling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Enjoying life. And it's a great opportunity to be a part of this panel and to get the message out to the community as far as the things that we're talking about.
Amen.
I want to get started I want to go back over with what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about the roles of the parents, the coaches, and the student athletes.
Oh.
With the exposure and with the playing time. Let's get this topic rolling on the path like we was talking before we came on air.
And I want to jump in with a question for all y'all coaches, because again, I'm not a coach, but I want to say, how do you dictate or how do you balance playing time? What gives you the gauge to who gets what playing time?
That's
Skill.
Easy.
You got the skill or do you not?
Yeah, that's the one thing you got to appreciate about sports. It's not a debate team. You can't talk your way into it. That's a question parents ask a lot. But your play, your practice, your work ethic, like Shalanta said, the skill, that's who's going to determine. I mean, you can go in and have some kids earmarked who you think is going to be all right, but a lot of times there's some kid who may have been working over the summer and gets in there and he catches your eye and he's doing what he's supposed to do. And, you're going to find a way to play that kid some minutes.
So, it's a difference between high school and AAU basketball or just youth basketball out in the community, because in some areas you want all players to get the opportunity to get on the court and to teach them how to play. But when you go to the school level, it's a totally different environment to where, like you said, the skill levels and the work ethic, the commitment to your studies, being a student athlete, all that comes to
factors when you playing on the school level. I agree, because it's no money involved. You're not putting all your time and money into it. A lot of parents think of, hey, I paid $900,000 just like the next person did. Why my child not playing?
Right.
They think that they pay to play. That's pretty much what it is.
And that's that youth basketballs.
And I'm glad you said that, though, because you're exactly right. AAU, and Mark could attest to this, there was a young man that played his 4 years of high school basketball all AAU. He never played during the regular season because his grades were never right.
Right.
Oh, yes,
So,
players
with that school portion, there's another piece. You got to make sure you know what you're supposed to do in the classroom. And then to take it even further, if we're talking about playing, in school ball, and it's particularly in Indiana, you got guys that's scouting, that's watching. They're gonna play to your weaknesses. So if your left hand is weak, you have coaches force him left. They're gonna make you beat them with their weakness. AAU, it's where you go out. You showcasing your talent. It's, hey, you supposed to be good. I'm good. We putting the ball out there. Go showcase what you're gonna do. And that's where a lot of people kind of lose in translation. Like, hey, my son averaged 30 in AAU. You don't know what you're doing. Not understanding these teams are devising the defense to stop your son and keep you from averaging 30.
So let's talk about the student athlete real quick, because we're going to get through all three components. But let's talk about that student athlete, because you got the elite athletes that supposedly be doing everything to go to that next level. Now, we know for a fact that we have our athletes going to school just to play basketball and getting over the system because
They're good.
they're good. Comment?
Well, they're not really they think they're getting over the system, but the travesty to that is once their eligibility is finished and the school grades don't match, if they didn't graduate, they're going to struggle taking it to the next level. And their athletic career is over. How many people in our community was that top athlete? Now they're just walking. They never made it to college, or they got to college and they flunked out.
Yeah.
But that goes into in what you allow a young person to do, and I'm not going to say a child because some of them are of adolescent age, but once you allow any person to get away with something for so long, they're going to grow accustomed to getting away with that. So wouldn't that be on part of the school, the faculty, and even the coach if they're not meeting their grades or their grade expectations to play?
I agree.
Well, we're gonna get on that in a minute. But
Okay.
with the student athlete, you know, it's their responsibility to making sure that they're doing their part as far as like going to class, getting their grades, you know, making sure that they're on point, because the basketball part of it, the coaches already know you could play basketball
Right.
or whatever sport it is. They already know you could do that.
Right.
Can you be my leader of my community? Can you walk around and do the right thing? To me, that's what the coaches that I knew that used to come on and do the recruiting was the first thing was asked.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. When you get it recruited, I tell kids all the time. Let's say you have likability. You know, our ability is here. The other kid is a A/B student doing everything that you just talked about. The characters start coming into play. You know, you guys got the same ability. He's A/B, high character. You C/D, struggling. Teachers getting on you, not doing what you're supposed to do. I mean, these are things. Those are deciding factors. You know, am I going to bring you into my program? These are things. These are conversations I
Right.
have with coaches.
Yes.
You know, I've got cousins that are coaching. I got a cousin who just took over a new program, and he'll call me and say, "Hey, is this the type of kid I can bring in? You know, I can't afford to take chances on somebody that's going to be a knucklehead. Are they going to be a knucklehead, or are they going to come down? They're going to get down to business. And you know, I need high character guys to build this program." And that's what people have to, you know, take into consideration.
And that's the part they're missing, is because even the parent, some recruiters, scouts even ask about the parents.
Yes.
Yeah,
A parent can kill a scholarship.
Parents can-
we're gonna talk about that in a minute too.
But back to what you said,
yeah.
JJ. You talking about not taking kids into the program because it might hurt the situation. You might actually help that kid to get them to the next level that they might need to be in.
But that ain't their job
As a coach,
as a coach.
They haven't got to
well,
that
now
school
we
yet.
putting stipulations on what you believe a coach should be doing
No,
in their life.
if the university or whoever hired me, I'm going to keep my job. So the people I'm bringing in already got to fit this profile. It ain't my job to teach them. They got to already know that when they get there if I'm going to keep my job.
You know,
You talking university, but what about on the high school, from middle school to high school level?
Yeah, you talking.
Kids.
Yeah, two different things.
So-
I get what
Okay,
you said. We're
okay.
talking about getting recruited. So
Okay.
that what I was telling you as a college coach, it's like a job resume. What you're doing while you're in high school,
Right.
college coaches are looking at your resume,
Okay.
and that's what I'm saying. But you're right, as a high school coach, yeah, it is your responsibility to
Okay.
get that child the resources, and that's what I'm saying. These are conversations that I'm having, and that's why I'm giving parallels and letting them know, look, you may be good, but you want to go to the next level. You need to handle X, Y, Z over here.
Okay.
And the challenges is Coach Foster is doing that, but what if the home don't have the same value as what Coach Foster's trying to teach the kid?
Exactly. So what is one of the
Tipping the
things?
scale.
What is one of the things I want all the panel to answer this question? what is one of the things that you would tell our student athlete that they need to work on or they need to bring to the table?
I can go with that
Slice
because
the word in half. Let's deal with the student part first.
yeah, well, the student part you talk about the grades, and I think JJ entered into it. You know, the citizenship, the character. You know, you got to be an all around person, but the grades have to be there because you know you're going to have to maintain a certain average
Right.
to stay on that team. But I would tell them, social media. People don't understand that jobs, recruitments, all of these people are looking at your social media too.
Right, right.
So
Right.
don't conduct yourself one way in public and then you're on social media conducting because they're going to see the whole you and they're only going to evaluate what you're putting on social media. So that's one thing that they have to be mindful about, but they're not, you know, and you know, because I don't remember. I think he was at Alabama, and you might know who he was, but he was an Alabama athlete, and he was about to get drafted. They went back 5 years and found him in a gas mask, and that
right.
dropped his draft stock.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So people are watching these things. So your character and how you present yourself is something that you have to be mindful of.
Wow.
Exactly right. And you can't. You say cut it in half. You can't cut it in half. If you in the high school level, student athlete, it's hand in hand. And that's one of my things. It's not an either or. It's hand in hand. If you have aspirations of playing at that next level, otherwise you wasting coach's time. And that's my thing. Don't waste people's time because if we just focus on athletics, and you're right, 707 AAU guy out there doing this thing, he killing. First thing the college coach is gonna ask for is what? You know, a transcript.
Right.
Show me that. Let me see that transcript.
But that's why I say cut it in half, because when you say student athlete, we don't have to talk about the athletic part. He already got that, or she already got that.
Right.
It's the academic part, in the socializing part, in the leadership is what they need to work on. An athlete is an athlete.
Right. They
I
wouldn't be
could
on
agree
that
with that.
platform
Right,
if they wasn't
right.
an athlete.
No,
That's what you're
but
saying.
even that, it's kind of like what we talked about before we went on air. How good does this athlete want to be? You know, do I want to thrive and be all SAC? Do I want to thrive and go D1? Do I want to go to St. Francis? What level do I want to go? Do I want to get to the NFL? And if you say, what do I tell a kid? It ain't about, don't talk to me about it. Again, like I said, this ain't a debate. You got to go out, you got to show it, you have to prove it, you got to be ready to put in that work. And I think we talked about that on some of these other podcasts. Everybody wants to be great or want to tell you they want to be great.
Right.
Right.
But when it comes down to putting that work
ethic.
in, that
Right.
time in, it's not matching up. So,
Right.
All right.
What about that student that is have all the great characteristics? The busting is better in school, but he still is not, you know.
At that high level.
Not the
Yeah.
high level
I'm
athlete.
talking about as on the school side.
He's not meeting that great
Oh.
He not
expectation.
mean that.
Well, that's where junior college come in
Yeah,
at.
but I mean that's where he's busting his butt. He's doing everything he can do,
Right.
and he has that character that everybody, all the coaches are looking for. But his grades just not.
That's where that junior college come in at.
But
I
they
mean,
should have something in place at the high school level, a program, tutoring, or
I agree.
whatever.
That's another
To
story. We gonna get to that part. No, you're right. That's another story. But we're talking about the student athlete right now, and what I would say is that don't give up on your dreams because you're not doing the things you're doing right now because you can change, and things can happen for you, but you have to realize that reality is reality.
Right.
And for any student athlete that's listening right now, I know this for a fact. I got some kids, well, they're not kids, young men at the University of Alabama football team. They're in tutoring right now.
There's nothing wrong with getting tutored.
Nothing.
They're in tutoring right now. Saban demands that.
Yeah. And I think at a high school level, I think it should be that too. But you can let a kid that's a basketball star as long as basketball season, and it looks like his grades are good, but then once basketball or football
And you
season,
let
is,
it
you
go.
know, my nephew told me that he played at Lewis. He said football season, he made sure all his grades were good, but after football season, he didn't care. It should be an all-around, a year-round thing. Your education should be important to you, and then
So-
you should focus on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is that the
yeah.
student
so,
fault
So,
or
no,
the
no, hold
coach?
on, hold on.
Okay.
So now we finna talk about the parents' role.
There you go. Yeah.
So he just hit it on the head as far as like what the student athlete supposed to be doing on the off season.
Right.
Come on, y'all.
Right.
Let's go.
No, you're right. I mean, yeah, coaches, and again, good coaches, they take all that into consideration. They're going to be there. But I'm with Shalonda. Is that their job year round? I mean, and the funny thing is, the more coaches that you know that do operate in that type of system, parents do rely on them, and they'll come up and they'll tell the coach what they should be doing.
Yeah.
And then, a lot of times that coaches sit back, okay, and they thinking in their head, this parent is telling you what all you should be doing.
What you doing?
Where do you fit out this equation?
Right. What you
You know,
doing?
I think I've actually said that before, though.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, I mean, they appreciate it. But these ages, this is where the foundation is supposed to be laid.
Right.
And the reality is, and the sad part, you're right, Clarence, because there's times as a coach in a different sport, you are monitoring your kids out of season. You monitor them year round. As crazy as that is, they could
Right.
be doing a different sport,
Right.
Right.
and you still got to call and check and make
Right.
sure they doing what
That's
they're supposed
crazy.
to do.
That's because you have that want him to be successful. Because there's a lot of coaches when that season's over
mentor.
with, they're done.
They're
Yeah.
not mentors.
They're not out there being a mentor like they're supposed to be. Now, when we expect for us to be coaches at all time. The love of the child is some of the things that we need to be really like focusing on.
Well, and you started out with where's the parent's responsibility. I would ask that all the way around because when we do want the best for our kids and things like that, but how can we want the best and we're just part time with the kid? As long as and I'll reward them during the season when they're doing good, but I'm not going to stay on them, in the off season. So I think as well as the students, it's a behavior, it's a pattern of behaviors where if it's not in the season, then what does it matter? And then what about the ones like E said? Some of them may have disabilities or shortcomings because we all learn differently. But what about the ones that just don't want to do? And the parents are saying, well, they should get these grades anyway. Try to, as they bully the coaches, they trying to bully the teacher, give them a grade. They need a C- to stay on the team. They got a D+. Well, why can't you just give them that extra point to get the grade up?
Right. Or doing a
Is that giving them just cause? I mean, is that giving them good
that's the wrong
service?
thing to do.
Yeah.
That's
But
the wrong-
parents
Nah.
do that.
Yeah. I agree they do it,
Parents
but
do
that's the
that.
wrong
But
thing
as
to
a
do.
teacher, you can't tell me to give a kid a C when he
Yeah.
ain't doing the work.
I would say
Some parents doing the work for the kids.
If they love the sport enough, they're
Yeah.
gonna rise on the expectation of what they need to be doing.
That's a good student.
Huh?
That's a good student. You saying?
No, we talking about,
If I had a school system, and thank God for y'all, I don't. If you
We
didn't
getting
reach
there.
a certain grade point average, I don't care if you was Superman, you wouldn't play.
right.
That's how it should be.
Superman
just
and
think-
super dumb, that don't go.
I just think for the parent part, though, to be real about it, they need to be realistic about things. They're not stepping up to the plate to making sure that their kid being successful all the way around, not just the.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
well,
You should be ashamed of yourself. You got a star athlete, but dumber than a doornail, because that's a reflection that represents you.
Yes,
Right.
true.
That represents your household and
Yes.
what y'all about.
What if they don't really know nothing? Though?
that's what I was gonna say. That's
'Cause,
what we
I
got to keep
mean,
it 100. There's some households. I mean, we can't paint everybody a broad
Right,
brush.
right.
Some just don't know no better. Some got some heck of circumstances.
Yeah.
There are parents that I know, what you're talking about, that are sabotaging or just doing things wrong. Around here, one of the things that always used to disappoint me, just what we're talking about, kids struggling in school.
Mhm.
or you go to any parent teacher conference, you know, I've been a part. You have one or two parents.
Oh yeah.
Send somebody kid on the bench or tell them they ain't playing. See how many parents lined up at your door. You know, those are the things, and I'm with you that we are backwards on. But one of the things when I ran my after school program at the Urban League, you know, I used to tell my staff, a lot of these kids sometimes, hey, this all they got. We are the parents.
Right.
So I mean, that's what we do. We have to understand that that you look at LeBron James, how successful that dude is. Who raised him? Boys and girls clubs, coaches,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Everybody
you know,
put a hand in.
That's who raised this guy, and look what he turned out to be.
But that's what we do, though. I mean, you know, the real ones,
The real coaches.
the real ones that's out
mentors.
there really making a difference, being a mentor.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about them parents who not stepping up to the plate that can step up to the plate,
can
but be
step
the
up.
first one at your door cussing you out because you want your
one.
student athlete not to just play basketball, but be a good student.
But you know what? I think a terrible education policy was no student left behind.
No, I can go with you on that one.
In
Oh,
my
yes.
day, if you wasn't doing what you're supposed to do, there was a certain thing called flunking,
Yes.
and it was a tag of shame, mentally and spiritually.
Yes.
Yes. If you flunked.
Yeah, I'm in 6th grade and I'm supposed to be in 7th grade.
They like, oh,
and
he
I'm still in 6th grade next year,
Yeah.
and the 7th graders done went on.
Right.
And they let you know about it.
No child left behind me. Like, no matter what I do, I'm still going on.
Yeah.
But
Right.
And at the end of
that's
the day,
failure.
at the end of the day,
Promote.
you ain't got nothing going on for yourself.
You don't got nothing going because you ain't learned nothing.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. That's super. And whatever happened to like, and I know we're going to levels, but when we talk about education and the student athlete, when we were younger, there were Prop 48. Then there were other things that academic red shirts or whatever. Do they still? Why would you have to do that, or do they still do that? Where a kid where Eric is saying is on the fringe, but they can come out and maybe make those grades in summer school or whatever. Do they still have like a Prop 48 or anything like that?
You know, that's why prep schools have become big. You know, like we talk about, junior college don't have the same
grade level.
the
Grade-
scarlet
grade-
letter or the JUCO. You know, I mean, you go there to get your grades. In high schools, they've got recovery courses and things that you can take. You know, kids take online to get called back up. So, and to circle back to Eric's comment, I love the fact that he said a good kid got everything and he's on the fringe. I'm going to tell you, that's the thing. That kid there is going to still have more options and doors open for
Yeah.
somebody who's
Didn't
not
care.
doing what they supposed to
Right.
do and out there clowning, cussing people out, doing
Right.
that type of stuff.
Right.
Right.
So, understand that. Yeah, people are going to bend over backwards to try to help that kid,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of parents that's out there doing the things that they're supposed to be doing
Yes.
and making sure we want to be on both sides of this.
Right.
Yeah.
That we do have parents out there that's making a difference in their child life
Participating.
and making them be accountable.
Yep.
So let's make sure we let them know we
Yeah.
appreciate
Yes.
you
Parents
for
like
doing
that,
the things you're supposed to be doing.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I just want to bring up a name we spoke about before, and I want to give him props, rest in peace, Coach Thornell Hollins,
Mm-hmm.
because he was a darn good coach, but he loved the children, and you knew that, and everybody wanted to be coached by him.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think everybody around here got a
Yes.
little bit of sprinkle of that in
Right.
there.
Right.
I'm gonna say this too while we celebrating folks, because I'm AC Eldridge.
Yep.
We
yep.
can say whatever we want. Like, again, I know the game. We can say whatever we want about X's and O's, what he didn't do, whatever. And I tell even guys that play for him, the one thing I know, I'm looking at all you guys. Everybody got degrees.
Right.
He made sure you was going to class.
Right.
Right.
You was gonna be good citizens. I mean, hands down. I said, that's what I'm talking about. When I look at AC Eldridge, Al Gooden, I mean, they took young brothers, made sure you made something out yourself.
Right.
You wasn't just gonna walk around here and be a statistic. I love them guys.
I'm gonna say one more, but this guy wasn't black. He was a white guy. Nelson Detweiler.
He went to Wayne. He was coach at
Nelson
Wayne.
Detweiler. If you ran track for
At
him
Wayne. Yes, I ran track for him.
and you was decent and you wanted to go to school,
Yeah,
you was getting offers.
right. And he made
That's
sure
facts.
he made sure.
And he'll be on you about going to school. Was the only white guy, period, that I ever met in my years in Fort Wayne Community Schools that encouraged me to go to college.
yeah.
So that sounds good. So let's talk about some coaches that don't care about you going to college.
Oh, that's a lot of them.
and they exposing you as far as like you just get me them victories
Right, trying to look good.
and don't worry about him going to school and don't
Let him
worry about him
flunk
getting
out.
them grades and
Right.
let's talk about
Well, that's systematic.
okay.
That's built into not enforcing the GPA, grade point average, where how can you have so many Ds? How can you have 4 Ds and still play on any team?
On any team.
What are we teaching
Right.
or what are we not teaching the children? And these are children. These are our children.
Right.
It's okay to fail at something
Yeah.
if you good at others.
So when you grow up, right now you're a problem to society because you're not an asset. You're a liability. They teaching our children systematically through the school system how to be a liability in life.
Like that.
That's heavy right there, but that's true.
So once again, that goes across the board, from the student athlete to the parent to the coaching.
In my opinion, you can't put it on the coaches.
It-
In my opinion, you can't.
Yeah.
It's the parenting. It's the family. It's the churches. It's the mosques. It's the synagogues. You can't just.
But you got to give that coach some parts of it.
Right. Because
They're
they're
there with them for a period of time, and they're giving them some life learned lessons as well. I'm not giving them no pass just because.
No, coaches do that, but majority is on the parent. I ain't gonna cuss. But if I just let some coaches raise my child. You can help me,
Yeah.
but you're not gonna raise mine.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I love that. We're in this
But
together.
that's-
what I'm
Right.
trying to
But
say.
that-
We're in this together.
But-
And to Mark's point, though, what he's saying, case in point, the school system may have their priority. Like you said, you can play with however many Ds. Now, you got certain coaches that I don't care what the school policy
Thank
is,
you.
you're not getting ready to play. And that's what you're speaking to.
Right.
But yeah, so you're right. If a coach hides behind what the school is allowing,
Exactly.
I mean, I guess that's up to, if you want to put it on him. But I mean, I've been a part of staffs that we've been cussed out before. What you mean? He not ineligible. What you mean he
Right.
can't play? But to Mark, no, we're going to hold our standards a little bit higher.
Right.
You know,
And I want to put it
Yeah.
on film. One of the best administrations, and I didn't agree with all of them,
Exactly.
and probably most of them didn't like me. But y'all know me, I didn't care. But I sent my children there because I respected who they were
Exactly.
and the system they had, and that was Harding High School.
I agree.
You had Principal Brown, you had Full Love, you had J.J. Foster, you had Bruce Stevens, you had Al Gooden. What was the assistant principal name?
that was full of.
Yeah.
The lady. It was a lady in the administration.
Yeah.
Is it Green? Was it Green?
She was
Or-
at-
She
She's a
was in
Prince
East
champion.
Island, but she wasn't.
Okay.
She was, yeah.
But
yeah.
what I'm saying is, I intentionally sent my children there because I wanted them to be under
Structure.
structure that came from our people.
Yeah.
What
Right.
that looked like.
Right.
So they can know within themselves that they can be that or better. So they don't always have to see whites running a system
Right.
that was positive. And when they took that away from us, when y'all took that away from us,
He letting it be known.
y'all is wrong for that.
Yeah. So
I agree.
we're gonna go on that where our people
We need to get back in play.
took them to places where it was all about a win and not about being a student athlete, not about having good character. But they were satisfied with them winning games, but then when it's time to graduate, they can't even graduate.
Losing life,
Right.
winning games, and
Come on
losing
now.
life.
And like I told you, we talked, off air. When I said I was done being mad at coaches that we talked about, right? I said it was our folks who I was disappointed with
Right.
that continued to send their kids places that, you play on the team and you start for 4 years and
You can't graduate.
you don't graduate, or you need to you have to go to JUCO. I go in the McMillan Center. You watching guys hooping around here that I know got talent that can play at Division I level.
Yeah.
And they just walk in the streets of
Yeah.
Fort Wayne.
Right,
and it's,
right.
I mean, it is. It's a travesty. And young men now. I mean, people they talk about it now because they know better. But I
Right.
mean, back then, and again, the role models in their life, the people that's helping them make decisions, made a choice to Friday night success versus
Right.
we talking big Monday
Life
and
success.
Saturday.
Right.
They miss out.
So once again, I mean, and I think that's what we've been trying to say all along is, making the right choices. So what to me is our community, our parents need to step up to the plate and find the right program and right structure for their kids to be a part of.
Right.
Because it's sad, to see them in position, our kids being in position, knowing that they could be great all the way around, and that they failing on the one side of the that's going to make them be successful down the line. Not these 4 years right here.
Right.
These 4 years mean absolutely nothing when they're compared to the
Grand
life.
scheme of life.
Right.
And what and the parents, everybody involved, when we look at athletics, don't just look at it as that person he or she can be a professional athlete. There's so many jobs wrapped around sports
Yeah.
that they can be.
Right.
Correct.
So you gotta. I think we gotta give them more options that's realistic,
Mm-hmm.
other than just you can be an agent.
Yes.
You can be a financial advisor.
Yes.
Yep.
Right now, you can be a NIL specialist.
Yes. You can be a PR person.
You can be a PR person, but it's going to take education. It's going to take being around the right people. More than that, you got to become the right people
Yes.
for the right people to be
Yes.
around you.
Yeah, and let's say this too. I mean, it don't even have to be. You talk about getting to the professional ranks. How about just use your athleticism to get to college? Study
Right,
whatever it
right.
is you
Free
want to.
education.
study.
Right.
One of the things again when I talk to kids is like, man, make sure when you go to college, you use your sport. Don't let your sport use you.
There you go.
And there's so many people
Pimp
that,
your sport.
Yeah,
Don't
that,
let
that,
your
that
sport
they leave their community and then they come back and they got the same thing that they had when they left. And that's no degree.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, go down there, get it, because
At least come
again,
back with
at a
something.
small, a degree, we know what does it mean. At the end of the day, if you have one, you don't have one, it's something that you're gonna need when to better your situation,
Right.
or put you in a better situation. So you got options. That's what life is about, having options, and that's one. Use your sport. I mean, I use basketball. My family used basketball. We didn't been all over the world. My mother ain't had to come out of her pocket for nothing. Sent 3 boys through college. That's what I'm trying to
Right.
tell people that's in that position.
And also for the ones who's out there doing the struggling right now, in school, it's never too late to
Reach out.
to be successful. I mean, we do know students that had it hard as a student athlete and become successful on down the line. So
Right.
don't give up
Don't give up.
Right.
Don't
just
give
because
up. Right.
it don't happen at the beginning, because
Right.
if and that's a life learned lesson right there within itself.
Amen.
Never quit with what you start. Because once you start quitting, it's easy to quit all the time.
True.
And then you're quitting on life.
Yes.
So
Don't be afraid to reach out for help either. If you seeking some help, like reach out. You can find help from people around you all the time. So
Yeah.
And JJ mentioned his mom was blessed to send 3 guys to basketball. This off subject, but I want to put it on film. Those 3 guys was Tracy. He was the best ball player. JJ was the best. I think JJ was the best ball player on both sides of the ball. Tracy was the best offensive player, but Suge was the best jump shooter. I don't care what Tracy said. You can't shoot better than my boy Ricky Foster.
No, it's been a blessing, man. I just want the student and the parent and the coaches to understand this is not a bashing on anybody. We just want to get the word out and let people know that there are some good side and some bad side of athletics. And we just got to keep it real, you know. Any last word?
Yeah, I'd like to say we want parents to be involved. Again, like we talked about, stay on top of the grades, get them involved in whatever sport, but, you know, understand, let that coach be a coach.
Right.
Understand who you got. Let them execute their craft. Use, you know, that's their profession. And understand if somebody's getting on them, understand if you got a true coach, yeah, they're going to push your child to the limits. You know, they're trying to bring out greatness. To bring out greatness, it means, hey, you have to do some things that you haven't done before. And that's the thing that always cracks me up. You have people giving advice and telling kids what they need to do that have never been where they're trying to send this kid to.
Right.
You know, if you have somebody that's in a position, allow them to help your child get them there.
Right.
Step back. Take some step backs. It's all right. You don't have to be involved in everything. You know, drop your kid off.
He said,
Monitor.
"Drop your kid."
Right.
Monitor what they're doing. Listen, but just don't be over involved. There is a difference. We talking support. Yeah, support your child, but don't over support. Understand.
But that's what I had to do. I had to drop my children off and let them do what they do.
Yeah.
Hey, to Mark's point, hey, you guys and you guys in this podcast, you see how he is. Hey, he's exactly right. He brought his kid over there. He never said anything to the head coach, Coach Gooden. You know, and again, like he said, they didn't see eye to eye. But at the first sign of adversity, he didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to pull him out of here." No, he didn't. He called me up. He might hit me sidebar. I catch an earful. But again, that was my role.
was your
Hey,
role.
I was the go-between, whatever. We're going to handle it. I talk him down, tell him down. But again, like he said, at the end of the day, he didn't use that as no leverage. He wasn't going to use his kid as no pawn. No, his kid, he knew it was the best situation. But again, you ain't always got to get along. But
Right,
understand
right,
the big picture,
Right.
period.
Right.
So real quick, just wanted the audience to know, if you're listening to this podcast, let your youth see this so they can see some of the things we're talking about. And if they have any comments or questions that they want to come and be a part and bring their side of the story, we most welcome you. We will welcome you with our arms out.
Yes.
Because it's not about us bashing you guys and trying to be negative. We just want you guys to be the best y'all could be.
Right.
And with the parents, be a cheerleader. And like Coach JJ said, let them be the coaches, and we be in the stands and we cheer our kids on as a group, not as an individual.
Right.
And as coaches, keep doing what you do. If you're doing the right thing, and if you're not, let's step your game up.
Right.
You know, for our youth in our community. I just think that's, you know, what we need as a whole. So, guys, this was a great conversation.
It was.
You know, I just want to say thank God for this panel. You guys bring great energy for our community, for our podcast, and let's continue to give our audience a great conversation. Thank you, and may God bless.
Respect the game on 3. 1, 2, 3, respect the game.